back.
We're back.
Another after-hours session here with my brother Jake, who I actually trying to think when we met each other.
I've known you, bro. I've known you. So if I'm 26 now, I've known you.
The
I
Jeep
probably
Wrangler I had when I was 17, the famous Jeep Wrangler.
You
So
have a picture of that?
somewhere I probably did.
Yeah. Well, if we got a picture, we got to throw that up because
I might have to find a picture.
we've had some good days, bro. We knew each other when we were kids.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
now we're doing this professional lifestyle. A little bit less professional than you. I'm in a. Well, I mean, you're. So I would consider myself.
No,
for
give
the,
you a back.
the
I wanted
yeah
to
the people
introduce
for the
yourself.
for the people watching. First of all, thank you guys for clicking on the podcast. It means a lot to the both of us. I've been helping Dean out a lot with this setup. I hope you guys like the way it looks and the way it sounds. Yeah, no, I hope. Yeah, and I hope wherever you are in the world, everything is going well. And I hope you guys get some stuff out of this podcast. I'm very big on inspiration. I love inspiring. I think it's the thing I'm most passionate about in the world. Which is funny because when I met Dean, all we really cared about was getting girls and being popular and being cool. But you grow up and
Times have changed.
times change because like Dean, when I saw Dean was I mean you're actually you're kind of the same guy. You just have money now.
The same guy
Yeah.
with a 2-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
little bit of money.
Yeah.
Trying to do the right thing in life. That's all
Yeah.
we could do.
Yeah.
Going back to like we were saying when we met, as teenagers, I could have never imagined some of the things happening in life now, the places that I'm in, we're in,
Right.
but it's nice to reconnect, like we never took a day off, in our friendship, which is awesome, and I
Well,
appreciate
I think we're supposed to
all your help
be,
with this.
well, I appreciate that, and I don't, and listen, like I said before, I'm big on inspiration, but I also do believe in God, and I do believe God puts certain people in your life for a reason.
Right.
And bro,
I truly believe that.
a lot of a lot of my best friends that I have right now, to be honest with you, I really wasn't. We lost contact at some point, or maybe I met them in the past year, past 2 years. Yeah, I think we're supposed to do really big things in this content space together. So I'm very happy. I'm just very happy to be here, bro. I feel very blessed to have this skill for whatever reason. Um, I guess it's just super valuable now in 2023.
No matter what you do, no matter what business you're in, I never thought it would be a part of my business.
Yeah.
When I got into my business, it was phone sales, smile and dial. The more dials you make, the more money you make,
Right.
and, provide good service. And that was how I learned my business. And I would never change that for anything because it taught me to have certain qualities and certain things you need inside of you as a person, and as a salesman to be successful, not only in business but in life.
Mhm.
Just like my father taught me in life with tough love, I learned the right way in the mortgage business. Pound the phones and you earn, how hard you work is what you earn,
Yeah.
and that's the bottom line. So to have those qualities instilled in me is what I show my team nowadays in the position I'm in. And I think starting that way and now implementing all of these new things into our business, and like I said, with people in any business, adding all the media stuff and all this social media, the technology, it really gives us all an opportunity to really take your business to the next level, to get out there and build that presence and that brand. So to have you help me out, being a dear friend of mine from years ago is an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, bro, and I really look forward to watching this become really successful for you and become really successful for the both of us. For anyone listening, my background, I was a former Division I athlete. I played football.
What I wanted to talk about. I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about your football days
Yeah.
because I remember witnessing it,
Yeah.
but that's kind of when we lost touch. And
Mhm.
I know you did great things in college, with the football stuff. So tell us a little bit about that, part of your life.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very cool. It's very cool to look back on. Um, Basically, all I really gave a shit about in high school when I knew you, like I said earlier in the podcast, was all I wanted to do was be cool. It's been a thing in my life. All I ever really wanted to do, I never really wanted life to be serious because for me it never really was that serious. Like we were very blessed to grow up in a nice area and have certain things taken care of for us. So all I really wanted to do was be cool. I know that sounds like kind of stupid, but like that was just what I wanted to do, and I saw football as an avenue of doing so. Also, I had terrible grades in high school. I had terrible grades in college, so I just figured, and I was a pretty big guy, so it made sense that I would go off and play football. But I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of laid that football thing to rest because I'm so much more focused on the area of my life that I'm in now, which is becoming an influencer.
Yeah, yeah.
Football is amazing. Like
It was
you,
a big passion of yours for a long time, though.
I was very serious with it. There was points in my life where I really thought I wanted to go to the NFL, bro, and I worked very because when we were hanging out, I was actually when we first started hanging out, I was like this little
You were
skinny.
my size.
Yeah, I was like this little
You were
skinny guy.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
And then yeah, I mean, I just so well, I ended up getting like kind of fat, but long story short, I just I, football for me was really good, and anyone watching, I hope you guys can relate to this. It was just really good for me to see that when you work hard on something and you let go of how long it's going to take, the thing just happens. You know, I was like, bro, this like little, small, frail, non-aggressive guy. And then I just worked really fucking hard, bro, in the gym and
You did.
you know, really hard, bro. I went from like 160 pounds to like 250, and I played all over the country. I played in California. I played in Missouri. Um, and long story short, you know, ended up my career came to an end because of an injury.
Like you hear that so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, you do, bro. It's a fucking it's a terrible like it really is a terrible sport to play because it's bro. You injure your knee, your shoulders, this
All
thing,
parts.
that.
You don't know
thing.
where you're getting hit from at what time.
But you know
That
the
football
the cool
field.
thing about football and sports in general, which is what you said about the qualities your dad instilled in you, which is work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, football for me, that was like the first time in my life where I kind of saw a lot of things in life came very easy to me. Like I was always a very good-looking guy. I was always a very charismatic guy. It was very easy for me to become friendly with people. But football was the first thing in my life that was very challenging. But it was worth it. It was worth it. It was the first thing in my life. Like, bro, when I got a Division I football scholarship, it was just like who do you know from name me 3 people on Long Island that have gotten that got a Division I football scholarship.
The fact that I have to you.
Yeah.
You're one of them.
Okay.
The fact that I have to think about it, I can't off the top.
You
of
see
my
what I'm
head.
saying?
Yeah.
Dude, it's bro, there probably
And
some
I apologize if I have any other close friends that
Right.
do on scholarship, but
yeah, but playing
my head, I
any
can't.
Division I sport is hard, bro. And
it is.
and it was cool, bro, because it was the first also like responsible thing that I wanted to do with my life. It was the first time where I said, you know what, bro, I'm gonna have a fucking goal. And the end is going to be so glorious that I'm going to be willing to sacrifice 5-10 years of my life to making this thing happen.
Yeah.
That's what football was, and then that was where I was able to see, all right, like, yo, you don't always need the most talent in something to make some shit shake.
Hard work.
Hard fucking work, bro. Like when I started playing football, I was the worst fucking football player ever. 8 years later, I was a 250-pound monster. And that's how I feel in this content and this influencer space. You know, for anyone listening, I have my own podcast. It's called The Journey Podcast. I do it with my best friend, Zach Cummings. Shout out our fucking guy. I picked up a camera. I was very blessed 4 years ago to not 4 years ago, I was fucking lost. You know, I just lost my Division I scholarship. I was home. I was injured. I spent 6 months in bed. I felt like a loser. I didn't have any direction of where to go. And for whatever reason, I picked up a camera one day, not with the intention of making money.
'Cause I never realized that. You know, I kind of thought you did something with the videography stuff and the camera stuff, but I never realized that you were taking it seriously until, maybe a year or two ago. I mean,
Because that's when all the fruits started happening.
yeah.
You know, there was a long time when I originally picked up the camera where I wasn't getting paid, I wasn't getting booked, I was just completely learning, eating shit. You know, like as a loan officer, how much months do you think it takes us to close your first deal?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it depends. It could be 1 month, it could be a year and a half. And depending on the type of structure you have with the company that you're with, that might not work for everybody. So it really all depends. But that's a hard question to answer because, in my opinion, with hard work comes luck. you know, and the harder you work, the luckier you get,
Right.
which is one of my favorite lines. You know, you might come into the office and pound the phones and get somebody on the phone, give it to the licensed loan officer, and you might close that deal, you know, right away.
Oh, because you
But
said that's what you did.
well, that's how I started.
Yeah.
I was a caller. I wasn't licensed. I mean, as a licensed loan officer, you know, most people start the route of working for somebody that's licensed before you get licensed. And if you get somebody on the phone and they sell and close that deal, you know, you feel like you closed the deal. So
Right.
I was fortunate, you know, to have that work ethic, and I pounded the phones in the beginning. So the gentleman, you know, I worked with, you know, who helped me in my career, he was closing business with me right away because I put the hours in, I put the time in, and I put the hard work in.
Mhm.
And I learned from the people around me. I took a little bit from everybody.
Mhm.
You know, I never just focused on one person. I had my foundation. I knew the people that I wanted to become like, but I always took a little bit from everybody, whether it was good or bad. You know, I saw what to say to people and what not to say to people from who was around me. So, again, to answer your question, it really depends.
Yeah.
As a licensed guy, once you get your license, which took me a long time, I'm only licensed since 2000 and I think 2000, the end of 2017. You know, maybe not the end. August of 2017 is when I officially got my mortgage license, and we had started with a bank in 2018 in January, and that's when I officially became a licensed loan officer. I remember, you know, I closed the deal, I think my first month as a licensed loan officer.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
amazing.
it's just from hard work. I mean, I was in the business a few years before, but
Yeah.
that loan, I remember Angela White, my client,
Wow.
um, I, it wasn't a client that I was working with before I was licensed, you know, so it happened quick for me because I put the work in,
Yeah.
you know, but that's not that way for everybody.
Mhm.
It all depends on, again, like I said, luck has to do with it.
Well, that's kind of
That's what hard work, man.
That's
The harder
kind of
you work.
happened to me, you know. Like I was able to see because I've only been doing this videography stuff for 4 years now, and every entrepreneur I ever hear speak always says, "All right, take if you could achieve everything you'd want to achieve, take the maximum amount of time you think you could do it in, like the most time you think you could do it in,
Right.
and double it." And I've been finding actually some solace in that because I'm the type of guy, bro. I want to get in. I want to get shit done fucking day one. Like
That's
I
how
want.
I am. You want it to happen overnight.
Yeah, but
Doesn't always
but
work
I've
that way.
actually I have found some solace in the idea of maybe it does take a little bit more time just because I look back on all the years I already put in.
Correct.
So I feel like I'm ahead of the fucking game,
Yep.
you know? And that's an argument of why if you're watching this and you have a passion or you're just not happy with your life and you want to take control, you have to start now.
Got to
You
take
have to-
initiative.
Bro, it has
Start
to be
now.
fucking like right now. Like right now. Like you can't let one more day go by without doing something because first of all, when you enter a new space, you are a nothing there. You have so much shit to catch up on. And I don't want to say that to like turn people off from starting. I want to say that to turn people on from starting is you're already behind the fucking 8 ball. So just understand that if you really truly want to be great at something, not only do you need to go and start tomorrow, but you need to spend more hours and work harder and work smarter than all the people that are already there because you need to give, whether you're in a business and you have clients or you want to become an influencer and you want to get followers, you need to give either A, your clients, and B, the followers, or C, both an incentive to do business or to follow you.
Yeah, yeah.
There has to be some type of incentive, which is kind of, and that's why I commend you. You wanted to get into content, you did it correctly, bro. Listen, I know you spent a lot of fucking money on all this, but that's why it's going to pay off is because you knew that you couldn't do it like everyone else. If you wanted this to get views, you'd have to find a way to from on day one make it better than everyone else's
You
content.
have to be. You
Yeah.
have to separate yourself from the competition no matter what you do in life. And I feel like a lot of certain people take that the wrong way. I want everybody to go up. You know, I always looked at life as I can't stand people who look at other people's success and are jealous of it or they aren't excited by it. You know, when I see my friends that are successful or people around me that are successful, whether they're more or less successful than I am, you know, it makes me happy to see people just go up. You know, I can't stand people that, you know, don't want to see the people around them do well.
Where do you think that comes from in people?
I feel like maybe it's just their mindset. You know, I guess they never saw vision yet, maybe in life, of achieving all of that stuff. I could speak for myself. I mean, going back to, and I have my own kind of story with the sports. I mean, I in high school I played baseball. Then I got hurt in like 10th grade, I think it was, and I picked up a golf club. And I never thought I would play golf. I mean, I played a few times growing up with my grandparents and my uncle. Shout out to my uncle Lou, who actually got me into the game seriously. But I ended up picking up a golf club after I got hurt in, I think, 11th grade, and I wasn't great. I shot 90, 100, just like people shoot on the golf course that don't really play. And I forget what it was. It was one day I went out to Bethpage State Park with my father's friend, and I shot like an 83. Whatever happened, everything came together that day. And that's not a it's a great score to most people. They hear that, they're like, holy shit, But I ended up shooting an 83. So I went home that day. I was probably 16 years old, and I said to my father, and I said to whoever I was speaking to, I was pumped. Everybody was talking about it. My whole family, Dean shot an 83 on the golf course, and during that time, I thought that was amazing. I could never imagine that. I went from shooting 100 to not knowing how to hit a golf ball to shooting an 83, which for golfers is a very good score. Then I guess something once that happened, something I guess went through me that I wanted more. I was competitive. I wanted to become the best at something, or whatever I did, I wanted to become the best at. I don't think I knew that about myself yet, but I had that instilled in me. That competitive nature. Wanting to be the best at whatever I did in life. So I kept playing golf, kept practicing, ended up joining the golf team in high school in 11th grade, and got better and better. Ended up playing 5, 6, 7 days a week. Spent the winters at the driving range on Route 110 under the heat. Didn't care how cold or how hot it was. I was out there, and I put the time in. Yeah, working my ass off for a couple of years. Now, I thought I was better than I was back then. Looking back, I was talented, and it didn't really happen until I'd say senior year, where I realized, like, holy fuck, I could play this game. I ended up shooting even par. Would shoot in the 60s. Would blow up sometimes and shoot back in the 80s, and learn that was a part of golf. I used to get frustrated out there. And I was never the guy to throw the clubs, but I would slam my club and be hard on myself. But I realized, even looking at people now on the golf course, when I see them get frustrated, I just tell them, take a deep breath, man. You can't take things that seriously. I didn't know that back then, but now I realize that hurts you. That doesn't help you go forward. But to get back to what I was saying, I ended up playing 4 or 5 days a week, 5, 6 days a week, putting all my time into this sport, and I wanted to do something with it. Something was going through me that told me that I wanted to, I wanted golf to be a part of my life. So I ended up going to, after I graduated high school, Nassau Community College. My grades weren't the best, like you said. They weren't bad. It's not like I failed classes, but I didn't love going to school. School wasn't a passion of mine. I didn't realize that till I went to Nassau, that once it was an option, not that you want to say it's an option because you should go to school, but once I realized that it was an option, that's where I started to realize that I'm not sure if this is for me. But I tried, whatever. I went to Nassau for a year, played on the golf team, ended up winning a tournament or two. The following season, my attendance wasn't up to par, so I was told I couldn't be on the golf team. And that's where I kind of got all fucked up. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up, not being on the golf team. My father was actually, he just got into the mortgage business. He was not in the mortgage business. He comes from a financial background, but not in the mortgage business. He was actually partners with this guy, Keith, who is my mentor, who I started with. They had an office back then. So I would always ask him, hey, can I come to the office and dial the phone? And he always told me there was no place for me there because it's not like a family business where you show up and like you just run the business and it runs itself. It's a sales-oriented environment. You have to sell people on the phone. Forget sell. You have to educate people on why they should go with you for a mortgage, to buy their home or refinance their home. And he had always told me there was no place for me. So when I remember that semester that I wasn't allowed to continue playing golf. I ended up working at a diner, and just doing random stuff. I didn't know
Yeah.
what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
I
I can
think,
relate.
yeah, I think the next semester I ended up going back to Nassau, tried it again, got through maybe one more season, but after that season I realized that this college thing's not for me.
Yeah.
For about a year or so I was lost. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Still wasn't in me that I needed to become successful. Had no idea what real money was. Always had some money in my pocket, but it was never real money. Looking back, I would have $150 in my pocket back then and think that we were good. Like, let's take everybody out. We're going out, have fun. We're getting a table.
I remember you
whole thing.
had the money on the back of your phone, and then or in like one of those little small wallets, and then you'd have a pack of cigarettes.
Pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, we'd
I
rip
don't
fucking-
condone that, but I did go through that phase. Luckily, early in life, and
Yep.
I cut that off right away.
Yep,
Can't
yep.
stand cigarettes, but
Yeah.
either way. So yeah, I mean, the college thing I realized ended up not being for me. A year or two went by, had no idea what the fuck was going on. I finally convinced my father, just let me come to the office, and he let me come to the office one day, and that's where, going back a few minutes ago, what I was talking about dialing the phones, my opportunity was to, here's a list of people, make phone calls and see if you can get people on the phone.
Yeah.
And I remember the first person I dialed, actually I got on the phone and transferred to the licensed loan officer, and I'm pretty sure that deal closed. It was like my first person I ever spoke to. And that didn't hook me right there, but as I was around that environment and I started to see people that made real money, and I started to realize what success was, not just hanging out in the street, that kind of pointed me in the right direction. Now is the time. Now I have to start to change my life and start
Get
to
more serious.
Get more serious.
Yeah, get more serious. Yeah.
Took me a few years. I remember I was offered incentives to pass my test and do certain things, and I just still, even though I started working in the business, I didn't take it seriously. It took me, fast forward, I don't know, 4-5 years to pass my test.
From the moment you take that first call,
Yeah.
took you like 4 or 5 years just to pass the.
I could have passed my test 5 years ago and probably made, X amount of more money, and you can't dwell on what happened in the past and say what you could have done or should have done, but yes, if I got licensed when I got in the business, which was probably in 2000 and, I don't know, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to say things would be different, but I'm sure things would be different. But
Yeah.
you never know. Things could be worse.
Of course.
So I don't regret anything. But yeah, it ended up taking me 4 or 5 years after I started there to actually get my license. And
Question for you: At what point did you take it? Did you start to take it seriously? Like, why would you take it seriously? Like, if you were kind of, you said, fucking off, and not fucking off, but like you were just not fully in. Like, was there a specific moment that you decided, hey,
yeah,
I'm going?
and I might not remember the exact moment that made me take it seriously, but I always had friends, and you could probably say the same thing. We always had friends around us that had a ton of money, whether it was from their parents or from their job or whatever the case may be. Nice cars, the jewelry, the life, that I guess started to realize that I wanted. So as soon as I realized that, which probably happened, I don't know, maybe 2 years into me starting in the business, once I realized that, hey, I have an opportunity to make a ton of money here and live that life that I'm starting to realize I want, I started to take it seriously. Was never a good test taker, which has something to do with why I failed my test 3 times.
Right.
And when I failed that third time, you have to wait 30 days each time, and then once you fail that third time, you have to wait 6 months.
Oh wow.
So
Wow.
a couple years before I ended up dropping out of college, then I got into the business, failed my test that third time, ended up having to wait that 6 months. I was completely fucking lost again.
Yeah.
I ended up going back to the golf course. Maybe I want to do this again. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
But whatever, went through that 6 months, rescheduled my test, got re-engaged, and actually passed. I actually studied, the first time I actually studied, though.
Okay.
I actually passed.
Okay.
I wouldn't listen to people around me. Study, do this, and this.
At least study for the fucking test.
Yeah.
Yeah, study for the goddamn test.
That I would
take an
change.
Adderall or something. Take an Adderall.
If I can go back, that I would change.
Right.
I would have studied the first time 5
Yeah.
years prior. But
Right.
like I said, you can't.
I mean, well, bro, since then, I remember. So we actually already shot this episode, and then I fucked up, and we formatted the card and got rid of the whole thing. So we already had this conversation. But I remember last time I was giving you your flowers very early on in the episode of like, hey, bro, if you got your license in 2014 or if you got it in 2017 2018, like, bro, you kind of built an empire. Like, you have a team. I understand, bro. Like, us as entrepreneurs, we want things and we want them fucking now, and we're gonna get them. But, bro, like, you have Team Franzese. Like, you are the guy. That is fucking pretty cool to look at.
Yeah, and we should all always take a step back and realize and appreciate, all of the things we have around us, whether it's business or family or no matter what it is in life, relationships,
Mhm.
But yeah, no, like you said, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I guess things happen not so fast. I put the work in.
Yeah.
There's people around me that get in the business or that are in the business that sometimes think it happens overnight. I'll be the first to say it does not happen overnight.
Yeah.
I feel like now I know how to instill the right qualities and train people how to make it happen faster than it happened for me.
Mhm.
But it definitely doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
I'll never say that happens.
Yeah.
But it is a good feeling to have, and build that brand now.
Yeah.
To actually feel like you're working for a reason and
Yeah.
doing this for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To help other people start their career and build their lives and in business, it's a great feeling. So
Yeah.
this last year has been challenging. We all know for the real estate industry.
Mhm.
But I look at this last year as an opportunity to. We're focusing on this now.
Mhm.
It gives you an opportunity to realign yourself with the right people and make the right moves so that when things not get better again, when things turn again in my business and just in life, life's challenging for most people right now.
Yeah.
We shoot to the stars.
Yeah.
So that's why I love times like this. I love when things get challenging because, like I said, it just gives us an opportunity to dig deeper and do things we might not have done when we were all busy doing what we normally did. And I look at this time as an opportunity.
Well, yeah, because I think that of a very, I think majority of very 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 successful people, something they may have in common is they take times like this in their life when things aren't working for majority of people, and majority of people would kind of be cool with that and start to, I guess, settle and give up and maybe start to live a lot, below their means.
Eighty
And
percent of the people got out of my business and the real estate business in the last year. It's like a known fact. You can look it up. People that
really,
got their license,
yeah,
people that got licensed like a year or two ago. I forget the real number. Don't hold me to it, but
yeah.
I don't know. 70, 80% of them didn't renew their license
Wow,
a year later because when things get challenging, most people fold.
right,
The one thing I always had stitched on all my custom suits in the back of my suit, I'll show you, is never fold under pressure.
mm,
And that's the one thing that I try to live by is that when things get tough, you can't fold under pressure.
yeah,
You got to keep moving forward.
yeah, it's
because
fucking amazing.
if things were great, things will be great again. Things can't always be great, and we've learned that. We've heard that from people around us. I've heard that from people around us. So you can't think that things are always going to go the way they are going at a certain point.
Right.
Sometimes things get challenging,
Yeah.
and that's when you have to realign yourself and dig a little deeper in life.
Yeah, and you want to deserve it, right? Like if you want, it really just depends on everything that you want. But if you want to have a yacht and you want to have, jewelry and you want to just you want to live an amazing lifestyle and you want to have a company, you have to understand that like this lifestyle is not easy.
No, it's
This
not.
is not a this is not
Forget
a
all that stuff, even like the materialistic stuff. Like
Yeah.
I like. I'm the first to say I like that stuff, and
Yeah.
people could knock that. I just like the nice things in life,
Mhm.
you know. But I understand what's important. I know the real reason I'm doing this. It's not for that. That stuff can come and go.
Right.
I don't give a shit about any of that.
Mhm.
To help people in their lives, to help my family have a good life, to take care of my daughter, to have an opportunity to take care of others. That's the only reason I do it, and I'll stick by that, and I'll always say that. That's the only reason I truly do all this.
Wow.
Is for that.
Yeah.
For that reason. Yeah, it's for myself, obviously, but if you can't do for others, forget yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
Right.
I always lived my life that way. Even from when I was a kid and I didn't realize business and successful and that whole thing, I would always try to put other people first and,
Mhm.
take the shirt off my back for someone else. If you have that quality, I feel like eventually you'll figure things out. Even though they say the nice guy finishes last, you know, you have to have good qualities in you as a person, which we do, obviously. We all made mistakes growing up. We all done shit that we regret, obviously. And maybe the word's not regret, but if you learn from those, which I could say for myself, I've learned from a lot of the mistakes I've made in my life, continue to learn from the mistakes I continue to make. That's, I think, what molds us as a person and as people. And that's what helps me continue to go forward. You have to realize that things aren't always going to be perfect. You're going to continue to make mistakes, but if you could learn how to keep pushing forward and not set yourself backwards with every little challenge, you're going to reach the stars. That's just my opinion. On how life and business goes, so that's how I try to be, in my life, and I try to show the people that are around me. You have to just continue to try to go up, and keep pushing the people around you. I feel like even in my office, you go in there, I'm like, if I'm in a bad mood, I feel like the whole office is in a bad mood. If I'm in a good mood, everybody's in a good mood.
Right.
That's a responsibility. You should look at that as, I'm grateful for that. That means people rely on you. And we all wanted this. I wanted this. When I decided to build a team and, become successful in my business, you got to realize what that comes with. That comes with dealing with people on their bad and their good days. That comes with dealing with clients on their bad and good days. And that comes with dealing with ourselves on our bad and our good days. And if you can, on your bad days, continue to push forward, that's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, especially in my business. So, other than that, I mean, I also, I know we spoke a little bit about, how you got into the media stuff, and your whole football story. And, I love hearing that because I can kind of relate to, I had the dream of being a golfer and doing that whole thing. But I guess eventually, like you said, with the media stuff and the camera, eventually you find your passion. And I found my passion. That's the mortgage business, doing loans for people. So it's nice to, sit with you and talk about what we both really enjoy,
Yeah, well, I think like just like you said, like fuck all the materialistic shit,
Exactly.
like the
It's
material.
cool. It's nice to have the boat, the watches, the jewelry. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like trophies. It's like there's no
Exactly.
trophies when you're like an entrepreneur. So like the
Right.
watches and all that shit, like those are all trophies.
It means nothing though. I'll
Yeah.
be the first to say it. It means nothing.
Yeah,
It's nice to
yeah.
have it, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Experiences are what matter. I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize that more and more.
experiences for sure. Peace of mind is so big for me these days. Like if you told me I could have all the money in the world, but I wasn't going to be a happy, peaceful person, I would say absolutely fucking not. I don't want it.
Hell
Yeah,
no.
I don't want that. And that's why, like for me, like I've chosen, originally, bro, when I got into the camera thing, it wasn't even a real job. It wasn't even a real job, So I'm not in this game for the money. I was in it because I loved it. I was just so blessed that 4 years later, now this job is so valuable to people. Like now I'm kind of in a position, and sometimes, bro, I can't even. I just feel so blessed and grateful about it. But it's like one of the shittiest things, bro, when you're first coming up, is sitting at a table and just not feeling like you can add any type of value. That's a shitty feeling because you want it. Like every person is valuable in something, but it takes a while. You have it takes in business. You have to the value needs to be presented today. Like I can't go off of your potential of where you're gonna be. It's like what can you do for this team right now?
Right.
So I spent a very long time, bro, my first couple of years picking up the camera. Just trying to be that's why I was always a kind person, because I always realized that no matter what profession you're in, you're gonna fuck up and you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
And let's say if I was a mortgage officer, if I'm only 2 years in, the guy that has 30 years is he's way better of a loan officer than me, but he's not me. He doesn't possess the intangibles. He's not as kind as me. He doesn't give the customer the same experience as me. Like there's all these like other things. So I kind of realized like no matter what you do in life, like like I am a filmmaker, but to kind of balance out the lack of experience, it was like I'm also Jake Moscato. So I realized like no matter what you do in your life, your personality plays a big role in that. You're not just Dean, the mortgage officer. You're Dean, who also happens to do mortgages. I'm Jake, who also happens to do content. Anytime I've ever felt extremely valuable in my life, it wasn't because I could pick up a camera and film something in 4K. It was because I could do it in my own way. I can make people feel comfortable. I can connect my client with this other person. I can have a dream, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I think if there's any, for any takeaways, from this episode, is because I'm the fucking king of passion. I fucking love passion, bro. It's everything to me. And listen, bro, full transparency, I haven't made the most money in the world yet, but I set myself the fuck up to do so because I built real skills in 4 years. There's a couple things that I did. One, I built real skills. If I connect you with if Gary V was in this room right now, I could probably offer him something. Hey Gary, I know you have a content team, but let me show you something.
Gary, give us an opportunity,
Yeah,
man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's one. I built real skills. Thing two was, bro, I moved to Miami. I got outside of my comfort zone. I was willing to
Yeah,
live.
I love that.
Yeah.
I always think about that.
Yeah, bro, I was there for 2 years. I was in Miami for 2 years, bro. Like, and I did everything, bro. I was at bro. I filmed Jake Paul's after party when he knocked out Tyrone Woodley for the second time, and I'm in his section at 11, next to all of them. Bro. I'm on a yacht having a conversation with Gary V. It's on my Instagram. I'm on a yacht filming Steve Will Do It and Charlie Rock and bro, all these people. I'm meeting billionaires for the first time. Miami was so good for me because, again, it's not about materialistic things, but what Miami did for me was it opened up my mindset. When I grew up, I thought like a Rolex meant like you have a Rolex, this guy's rich. I didn't, but then I go to Miami, a Rolex is like an introductory piece.
Crazy,
It's like
right?
the fucking starter piece. Yeah, bro. There's Richard Milles and APs and Breguets and fucking all these crazy watches. And it was the same thing with cars. I thought a Lamborghini, like, bro, if I look at a Huracan, I see a Huracan, I actually cringe now because I'm like, that's a rent, like it's like a rental car. It's a base level
crazy.
Huracan.
So crazy.
Yeah, now I'm like, bro, to get me horny, it's got to be like a Koenigsegg or some shit, a Pagani or fucking. But
Crazy.
long story short, I built the skills and then I built the fucking connections, but I wouldn't. And then, although I didn't really have the most money in the world, when you have a lot of skills, and then also the third thing I did was I built a following. And now I'm not even going to say that I have the most followers in the world. I have 215,000 followers on TikTok on my podcast with my co-host. And then on my personal Instagram, I have 23,000. But the 4 years that I spent learning how to get those followers, things have a compounding effect. So now I'm in a position where, okay, I only have 23,000 Instagram followers, but I got 13,000 of those in the past 2 weeks. So if we film this podcast in a year, I'll probably have over 1 million followers.
Right.
So with the skill set, with the connections, and with the followers, now I'm in a position to do huge fucking deals, So that was one thing, and the whole reason I wasn't going into that to say how big my cock is, although it's pretty nice. It's got a curve to the left. No, yo, Jesus, no, ladies, no. But anyway, no. All jokes aside, I was going into that to say I wouldn't be in the position that I am in right now, and I thank God every single day to be in this fucking position because I can tell, like, bro, like you brought me in here, and I can tell when you look into my eyes, you think I'm valuable, and you have way more money. You have way more money than me, but I can see that it's not even about the money; it's about the value, and that gets me excited. But I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't do something I wasn't passionate about.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Yeah. So.
No, that's awesome to hear, bro.
Yeah, bro.
For anybody to be passionate about what they do, and you could tell you are.
Yeah.
That's what obviously helps you get to where you're gonna get in life. So
Yeah.
keep pushing.
Yeah.
We
And
all-
we're gonna do some great things together.
we all gotta keep
We're gonna do some great things together. Yeah, I mean, bro, we can definitely hit on anything else you like to hit on, or I definitely think we should do another episode as well. I thought this episode was nice because I think that I can even hop on every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? And
It's good to have the mastermind behind the
yeah.
behind the cameras and behind the whole operation.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've learned so much by doing this, bro, and like one thing I guess I could say like about like being the mastermind is you really just want to post content that people find relatable. You want to post content that connects with the everyday person.
That's what I'm starting to realize. It's not just about your business. That's
No.
why, speaking about mortgages and real estate stuff, that's great. That's my passion. It's great to educate the
Yeah.
world and people on that.
Mhm.
But to speak about personal development and
Mhm.
speak about people's stories and their background and where they came from and how they got where they are,
Mhm.
I love that.
Yes.
So that's why I started the After Hours podcast, and
Yeah.
to have you on as a guest.
This is gonna be this is gonna be
yeah,
massive, bro.
we
This
have
is
a-
gonna
we
be
have
massive.
some great things in the works.
Yes.
And some of the plans we have coming up, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings, and definitely doing this again soon, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have some big guests coming up in the next couple of weeks and months, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to to work on this with the team.
Much love, brother. Thank
Much
you guys.
love, man.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the episode. And yeah,
Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget.
Dean Ooch.